Hey everybody, welcome back to The Stuff of Legend. My name is D-Lo and I've got another video for you guys. Today I wanted to talk to you guys about Crisis on Infinite Earths, among one other topic after that. But that'll be about a very, very big business move that happened recently in the last couple months. Didn't get a chance to talk to you guys about that. There's been so much going on, but I'm going to talk to you guys about that today. So stick around at the end for more. But we're going to be covering a lot of news involving Crisis on Infinite Earths and what DC is doing with a lot of the different franchises they've had, not only in recent years in the Arrowverse, but a lot of the other DC properties over the many, many years of DC TV and film. So let's go ahead and jump right in and start talking about that. So first up on the agenda today, we have Tom Welling. You guys know him as Clark Kent Superman from Smallville, but he was a Superman that was no tights, no flights. He basically stayed on the ground as Clark Kent in development for a very, very long time, even after he had already left for Metropolis and was working for the Daily Planet. They basically did an entire Superman arc without him officially taking the mantle of Superman, even though they did the red, blue blur and all kinds of other different teases where he wore the chest logo and all kinds of stuff, but never flying around with the cape and all that stuff. They kind of alluded to that, but never quite got there. Up until the very, very last moment of the show at the series finale. So great. I love that TV show so much. But this is a big, big news for fans of not only Smallville, but Superman, because this Crisis on Infinite Earths crossover event for the Arrowverse on CW is going ham on some Superman. If you guys are already fans of Superman, if you guys are fans of the Man of Steel, this type of stuff, not necessarily Henry Cavill, but the character of Superman, there's going to be a lot to appreciate in this next one. So if you guys didn't gather from my thumbnail, we're looking at three Supermen right here. On the far left, we have Brandon Routh. You guys know him as Atom from DC Legends of Tomorrow. He was also on Arrow. He plays Ray Palmer, and he was the guy that played Superman in Superman Returns, and that was not a well-received film. It took a very isolated approach to Superman, really showed off how difficult it is to be the Man of Steel, the alien from outer space no one can quite understand. But we have Brandon Routh taking up the mantle, and he is coming back to that role. He played that role really, really well. Unfortunately, the way that the story was written didn't do him any favors, but he was good in the role. He looks the part, certainly looks the part, and I'm really happy that they're going to give him another shot to play a Kingdom Come type of Superman that is much more mature, much older, from probably an alternate universe, obviously, because in this universe he's Ray Palmer. So they're gonna highlight that, and I love that DC is doing this, where they're just saying, you know what, Smallville canonized in the Arrowverse, or at least in an alternate universe. They're recognizing that DC is not just one universe, but hey, they had the the old 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, early 2000s, all of these different iterations of the characters we know and love, played by different actors. They still matter, and the fans love these guys, and that's what being a fan of much fiction is all about. I mean, that's what we got right here. Boom. Check it out. This is my new t-shirt I made for you guys, for myself as well. But that's part of my brand, is that, man, we're all fans of this stuff. We're fans of much fiction. We're not just fans of one fiction, fan of much fiction. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be Marvel or DC when you can select both. See what I'm saying? Or it could be, I don't have to like Batman or Superman. I can like both. And I know you do too. So we have here, let me just jump right into the meat of this. I don't want to drag too long. I'm going to try to keep this brief. But this is really, really exciting. Tom Welling is set to reprise his role, his Smallville Clark Kent role in the Arrowverse crossover on the CW. I am not going to go through the entirety of the article. I'm going to give you guys the gist, because you don't need too much more out of this, but it's just here. It says, and then there were three. Tom Welling is set to reprise his Smallville role as Clark Kent in the CW's upcoming DC Arrowverse crossover called Crisis on Infinite Earths, coming out in December 2019. Joining the two other actors that have played the Man of Steel, Tyler Hoechlin, who's on CW's Supergirl, and Brandon Routh, who both already set to portray the character in the crossover. So we know this is very interesting, because Deadline is sharing this news here what they say here is Tyler Hoechlin and Brandon Routh are set to portray Superman, whereas Tom Welling is only so far confirmed to be playing Clark Kent. Yeah, I know what you're saying. Clark Kent is Superman. I have a feeling, based on the way that they left the show in Smallville at the very end, he finally recognizes his destiny at the final moments of that series. If you guys haven't seen Smallville, it's a lot to watch. There's a lot of TV there, but it's good. It's awesome. Check it out. Really, really great. Never been a better Lex Luthor ever, and there probably never will be. But we also have this Clark Kent. Now, Tom's thing back then was, I don't want to wear tights. I don't want to fly around. I want to keep the character grounded and get more in-depth about what it's like to be someone that doesn't belong here, you know, and he wanted to really get into the character acting, and that shows. It was very CW dramatic at the time, but it was also a really, really nice, fresh take on the character. Very different even than Dean Cain, who took a very similar approach, but focused on the romanticized relationship between him, or the romance between him and Lois. So this is a really, really fun thing for me. A lot of fans are really excited to see Smallville come back, and Hoechlin and Routh take up their places as Superman, and to see them all together. Hopefully we'll get to see them. Maybe it'll be piece by piece. Maybe they won't all interact together, the three of them. I'll be willing to bet anything that we will see all three of them at some point in the crossover event together. There's no way they don't do that. I mean, that would be so awesome, so epic, and I freaking love Tom Welling. I can't wait to see this. So I'll leave that there. But in similar news, we also have Erica Durant. So if you guys don't remember her, she played Lois Lane on Smallville alongside Tom Welling. So it's not just one Smallville actor, it's two. So now they have both Clark Kent and they have Lois Lane, and she was great. But one thing that's interesting here is Erica Durant is she's actually on Supergirl. And she, watch, I'll show you guys right here. Erica Durant to reprise Smallville Lois Lane role in Arrowverse crossover on the CW. And you see her here, you know, Clark Kent, Smallville is holding her shoulder. And Erica Durant is joining Smallville co-star Tom Welling in the CW's upcoming DC Arrowverse crossover. She will be reprising her role as Lois Lane in multiple episodes of the 5-night event. That's 5 episodes, guys. Holy dang, it's going to be so, so cool. And I'll tell you why. As we go along, I'm going to show you guys more and more of these actors that are going to be in this crossover. It's massive, guys. They've done some big crossovers. They've never done anything quite like this. This is going to be huge. I haven't even been keeping up with the CW series, but I will be now. I am not going to miss this Smallville. They've got multiple actors from Smallville. They got some, I'm not going to spoil it just yet because we're going to talk about more that's coming, but you're going to want to be around for this. And it goes on here. The crossover will reveal where Wheeling's Clark Kent and Durant's this should say Welling, not Wheeling. That's a typo. But it says Welling's Clark Kent and Durant's Lois Lane characters are almost 10 years after Smallville, which means he is Superman at this point. There is no way he's not going to play Superman. I don't believe for a second he's going to stick to Clark Kent in this one. But who knows? I mean, they might surprise us and just say, you know what? No flights, no tights, we promised. I would hate that. I really hope they allow him to fly around. That'd be so fun for fans. Maybe not for Tom. Maybe he doesn't want to do that, but hopefully he does it for the fans. And that would make him a lot of money at Comic-Cons too. People are going to make a lot of effort to go get his signature again. So while the Crisis on Infinite Earths crossover will feature multiple versions of Clark Kent Superman in different time frames, played by Welling, I'm sorry, it's not Hoechlin, it's Hoechlin, I believe. I don't understand why it's Hoechlin, but it's supposedly Hoechlin. Tyler Hoechlin and Brandon Routh. And I hear there are no plans for multiple incarnations of Lois Lane. That's good because I only like her as Lois. And played by the actress who had previously portrayed her, like Terry Hatcher. And so I really like Erica Durant's Lois Lane. She's my favorite so far. There's a lot more here. You guys should read ahead on those things. I've got all the links to these down below so you can do the research yourself. But I'm going to go ahead and jump ahead to the next guest that's going to be on this crossover event. And there's so many of these articles, guys, that I'm going to make these into individuals so that you guys can get them piece by piece if you want. Focus on one thing. But let's go to the next guest. So this is really awesome. 2 Smallville guests so far. we've covered. So make sure if you haven't seen that, you just go back and watch that. I've got the links down below in the description. Let's go to the next guest topic of the day. The next guest on this list, Kevin Conroy, the great voice of Batman, the Batman that you recognize from almost everything you've ever watched that was animated Batman, especially that of the 90s and early 2000s. No one has voiced Batman longer. No one has played Batman longer than Kevin Conroy. Kevin Conroy is the king of Batman. But he hasn't done any live action Batmans yet up until supposedly now. So let's go ahead and I'm going to show you this. You guys can already see some of the things he's already done work in. Batman the Animated Series from 92 to 95. Batman Beyond, where he voiced the older Batman. Batman the Killing Joke, plays Batman. Batman Mask of the Phantasm, Justice League 2001 to 2004. This is not The Office with Jim Halpert. This is a different Office, but Batman the New Adventures. You got like Justice League versus the Fatal Five, Batman Harley Quinn. You guys can see the list. Flashpoint, he was in there. Batman versus Robin. I mean, everything. Static Shock. I mean, you name it. This guy is in it, dude. He's the great, great, great Batman. And, oh my gosh. I'm basically like having nerdgasms right now. I'm freaking out about Kevin Conroy. I love Kevin Conroy. And I know you do too. Maybe you just didn't realize it was him because you've probably never seen his face, but you know his voice. So let's go ahead and just show you what is happening here. So first up, Kevin Conroy to play Bruce Wayne on the CW's Crisis on Infinite Earths special. This is so exciting, guys. I'm going to go ahead and show you this right now. But we have, for my fellow 90s kids out there, Kevin Conroy is the voice of Batman and Bruce Wayne, thanks to the stellar career of playing various animated voices versions of the Caped Crusader. But later this year, Conroy will get to put his best foot and face forward as he appears in live action, in the live action crossover special Crisis on Infinite Earths on the CW. The ongoing TCA event revealed a number of interesting facts about the network's upcoming crossover event special, which is a sprawling adaptation of the DC Comics event spearheaded by Marv Wolfman and George Perez. Get your, what does it say? Get your primer here. The latest news at Conroy will be playing a live action version of older Bruce Wayne. Don't expect him to get all caped and cowled up for this go around, though you never know what the CW is going to do. And in a perfect world, this could even set up the long-awaited adaptation of the fan-favorite futuristic Batman series, Batman Beyond, in which an elderly Bruce Wayne passes the bat torch and everything that comes with it down to his heir apparent, along with some incredible mythology as to how that comes to pass. And then it goes on to just say that Conroy will be playing elderly Bruce Wayne. So what we know here is that in Batman Beyond, it's Terry McGinnis. Terry McGinnis is, he takes over as the Batman under the tutelage and mentorship of an older Bruce Wayne. Now, a lot of people were talking online. They wanted Michael Keaton to come back and maybe play that older version of Batman, but look what we're getting here. This is, in my opinion, just as good, if not maybe greater. This is so cool. They're getting the actual voice of Batman, who voiced Batman back then, to play live action Batman in this one. Bruce Wayne, rather. He probably won't suit up. Odds are he's not going to suit up. If he does suit up, holy dang. I'm going to want a t-shirt of that. I'm going to want to mount that on my wall. Get like a Funko Pop of Kevin Conroy as Batman. I'm going to need that. That's going to be so cool. So we have a few other things here that you're going to see, like Superman, Tyler Hoechlin, and Brandon Routh. We already talked about coming back as Superman and Superman Kingdom Come. And then a lot of other things here that are going to be coming on. I'll circle back to those things. There's a lot of other news here, but I'm going to just keep moving forward. Next up on this list, guys, tell me first before we move on. Tell me, are you guys excited about this? Are you excited for Kevin Conroy to come play a live-action older Bruce Wayne? Do you hope that he puts on the cowl, or would you prefer that maybe this is, in fact, leading into some sort of a Batman Beyond either show, mini-series, or maybe just to include him in this crossover? That would be so fun, but I want to hear your thoughts. Let me know what you guys think down below. All right, next up, we have Burt Ward. If you guys are not familiar with Burt Ward, you're probably familiar with the name Adam West. Adam West played the 1966 Batman that you probably heard on maybe Family Guy as Mayor Adam West. Hey, look everybody, it's Adam West. I'm the mayor, and you need to listen to me because I was Batman. It's that kind of Batman right here. You can see him here, They did some animated stuff in recent years. It was sad, but right before he passed, they were filming and prepping some animated films using Adam West. Burt Ward is still around. Burt Ward is 74 years old, and they have confirmed Burt Ward will be in the Crisis on Infinite Earths crossover. Now, they have not specified what his role is yet, but let's go ahead and just take a look really quick. He's known for playing Dick Grayson Robin in the 1966 portrayal and in a lot of other iterations of Robin, Dick Grayson throughout the years since then. Even into recent years, like you can see 2017, 2016, very, very recently. So no one has played Dick Grayson longer than Burt Ward, and that's a fact. So let's just take a look at what's coming up here. Burt Ward to appear in the CW's Arrowverse crossover, and then it says Comic-Con. Batwoman executive producer Caroline Dries revealed Saturday at Comic-Con that Burt Ward, who played Robin opposite Adam West's Batman in the iconic late 60s TV series Batman, will appear in the CW annual Arrowverse superhero crossover event this fall. And I believe it's actually going to be in December, so I think that's technically winter. But it says, titled Crisis on Infinite Earths, the upcoming mega crossover will unite the entire Arrowverse series franchise, Arrow, The Flash, Supergirl, DC Legends of Tomorrow, and Batwoman, in a 5-episode epic that will span 2 quarters, with 3 episodes airing in December and 2 concluding installments debuting in January. That's amazing, guys. And then it says, the Ward news comes after Deadline broke yesterday that 2 previous Superman portrayers, Tyler Hoechlin and Brandon Routh, you're going to hear about that a lot, guys, but it says will play him at different times in the crossover. Technically, we already know that it's 3 because we already discussed what they're doing with Smallville. If you didn't see that, go back. You can rewind this or check out the individual videos so you can get the short snippets of what's happening with the Smallville. And then it says, the season finales of Arrow and Flash provided some clues for the upcoming crossover, which shares its name with the landmark 12-issue DC comic series that was published in the 1980s and essentially reset the DC mythology by scuttling decades worth of characters and the dense thicket of a canon built haphazardly by hundreds of writers over decades. And then it says Batwoman will be making its first foray into the Arrowverse. The series starring Ruby Rose premieres October 6th, joining Supergirl on Sundays. And then it says Rose did not attend the Comic-Con panel. Now, this is very interesting because we have someone that is in charge of writing for Supergirl and for have heavy involvement with the crossover event itself, for writing with that event itself. She's the one that has confirmed that Burt Ward will be in this crossover. Now, we don't understand. It doesn't clarify what role he's having. I surely hope that he's playing an older version of Dick Grayson Robin, perhaps one that is maybe retired. Maybe it's the same type of Burt Ward. Maybe they're going to match him with Kevin Conroy's Batman, and maybe they're helping raise a Batman Beyond Terry McGinnis character or something like that. Who knows what they're going to do here. I surely do hope that he is still playing Dick Grayson because that would be amazing. I love Burt Ward's Dick Grayson. It's one of my favorites. It's so sweet. It's innocent. It's awesome. And what a support that guy. I mean, if I was going to have a sidekick, I would probably want him. Even though the antics and the filming and that kind of stuff of the days, of course, it's early TV technology. You know what I mean? It wasn't nearly as advanced as today. But even if you go back, it's innocent, awesome family fun and adventure that is clean, and you can sit down and watch it with the kids, with your parents, with whoever, and it's legit. It's awesome, and I've always appreciated Adam West and Burt Ward for that. So are you guys excited about Burt Ward coming into this crossover? I mean, look at how many universes the Crisis of Infinite Earth are going to include. It's not just Arrowverse, guys. Now we're talking about Smallville. We're talking about the animated TV series Kevin Conroy coming into this as well. And we're also talking about now Burt Ward. So there's a lot going on here. Are you guys excited? I'm super excited. I can't even wait, man. So I'm going to go ahead and jump to the next screen here. That way we can take a look. Just so you guys can see this. He has played a heck of a lot of Robin. So you can see here, Robin, Burt Ward. I think he plays himself here, but it's in the DC Comics special, so he's playing probably himself as Robin, though. And then you see Futurama, Burt Ward, voice Burt Ward. You can see in SpongeBob, he played young Barnacle Boy, which is obviously it's a nod to him playing Robin. And then you have Robin on The Simpsons. You've got, he plays himself quite a bit. But then also, let me see if I can find this. Where did we go? Here. Legends of Superheroes, Robin. Tarzan and the Super 7 as Robin. New Adventures of Batman, Robin. Batman TV series in the 60s, Robin. Batgirl, he plays Robin. And in Batman, the movie, he plays Robin. There's like, he's Robin all the way through. Dick Grayson Robin from day one. And he still is. I surely hope that's what they're doing. It would be remiss of them to just waste that opportunity. So enough of that. You guys can tell I'm losing my mind. I'm so stoked. I'm clearly a fan, but I want your thoughts. Tell me what you guys think about this in the comments. Are you guys getting more and more excited for Crisis on Infinite Earths? Is this, for those of you guys who maybe fell off the CW shows, is this something that will bring you back to see even the crossover? Maybe not keep watching the shows, but are you going to watch the crossover? Because I am definitely watching the crossover. I have to watch. Now I have to watch the crossover because they got so many of my favorite characters coming into this from many different universes of DC Comics. So excited. All right, next up on the list. Oh, and there's another article here I'll link below for you guys, just about original Robin Burt Ward to appear in Crisis on Infinite Earths with much more details and stuff for you, so you can get that as well. Check that out on your own time. Scroll down, you can find that, and I'm going to go to the next one. So next up we have Ruby Rose is joining the Crisis on Infinite Earths mega crossover on the CW network in the Arrowverse. This is really exciting, guys. If you guys don't know who she is, she's playing Batwoman in the 2019 series coming out. I believe it's going to be in November, if I'm not mistaken. Actually, it could be. I'll look that up. We'll find out right now. But we also have, she's also in like Triple X, Return of Xander Cage. She's already in John Wick 2, John Wick 3, The Meg, Pitch Perfect 3, Orange is the New Black, Resident Evil, and now she is Batwoman. So we find this. Batwoman is in Crisis on Infinite Earths, and her season 1, Batwoman season 1, will launch into Crisis. And so here we have a quote from the showrunner, Carolyn Dries, was asked how the show will establish its unique world while also dealing with the epic nature of Crisis, which is what they're calling it for short. So she says, that was really important to me as we were breaking the crossover, is that I really want to keep the tone of our show in Gotham and very grounded. Dries revealed, we are just starting out, meaning with Batwoman, and our character, Batwoman, it's not normal for them to interact with aliens and travel to different universes and stuff like that. So that is the first thing I brought up to the writers in the major writers room as we were breaking the crossover. Like, this is a thing that's important to me, is keeping this character grounded, keeping Batwoman in Gotham. It's important that she doesn't get over her head. It's like a lot of the people that took issue with maybe Spider-Man jumping very quickly into the Avengers Endgame and jumping into that battle. They did a good job of showing how kind of almost overwhelmed he was in that final battle. Like, he was just like, just take it, get out of here. And that type of stuff was, I think, handled well, but it was on the edge of very risky because he's supposed to be a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. And I think that's what Caroline Dries is saying here is, look, Batwoman's awesome, but she is a woman in a suit that is highly skilled, but still a woman and still a human. That's the important part. And so when she's saying, Crisis on Infinite Earths, that's big. That's really, really big. So we got to make sure that you can feel the overwhelmedness or the, oh my lord, what is happening here, you know? So it's important for her to just make sure that that is contextualized. And then next she says, to an extent, Batwoman has experience holding her own in the midst of a crossover, meaning last year. And it says, as Ruby Rose's Kate Kane was introduced during last year's Elseworlds crossover event. That was last year. She says, still, it's hard to deny that the crisis will have a lot of ground to cover given the epic nature of the event. Basically, we're going to begin, and she says this is an exclusive, we're going to begin the way Crisis on Infinite Earths, the comics, begins, which is the destruction of various parallel universes, which explains why there might be a bunch of these other Batman and Superman characters that are going to show up, and we're going to see those. Maybe their worlds start to get destroyed, and they have to reach out to the Arrowverse to ask for help to save it. Maybe that's what's going to happen. Or we'll find that the Arrowverse might be getting destroyed and they have to go to other universes and pull those heroes to help them in there. So who knows what's going to happen. It's going to be bonkers, guys. But let's keep reading. It says, and the goal is for us to adapt key moments from the comic. Those seminal moments, Arrow producer Mark Guggenheim told comicbook.com last month. He says, yesterday I pitched to the network what the story was going to be, and the best part of the pitch, we have a board that DC made up for me, which covers from key issues on Crisis of Infinite Earths, Guggenheim continued, and we're like, we're going to do our version of this, we're going to do our version of this, but we're going to do our version of this. And so he's basically just saying, look, it's this, we're going to do this, but we're going to do our version of this. So it's not going to be exactly like the comics. It's going to start like the comics and kind of veer into its own direction based on the context of the universes they're dealing with. And it says, our goal is, the thing we've been saying is we're going to make a list of 100 cool things we want to do. And even if we only get to do 50, we're still doing 50 cool things. And obviously, based on the cast we know so far, from Smallville, Kevin Conroy's Batman, Burt Ward's hopefully Robin, and Ruby Rose, you know, now we're reading here. A lot of cool stuff's happening. A lot of cool stuff. And it says, this needs to be special. This is the holy grail of DC comic book stories, in my opinion, and we cannot screw this up. It's good to know that they're taking this very seriously. Obviously, maybe they don't have the same appreciation for that comic that maybe other fans or some fans or all fans might have. But I think that they've got a good idea based on what they're doing. They're pulling in a lot of big characters and actors that are well beloved by fans of the franchise. And maybe it's just pandering to those fans to try to get some ratings in. Of course, they want to get the ratings in, but I think they're doing it the right way. I think that this is a lot of fun for people like me, people like you, who might maybe not be fans of the CW verse even, but holy dang, do we love Kevin Conroy? Or man, I can't wait to see Burt Ward again. It's been so long. And then it says, are you excited to see how Batwoman fits into the Crisis on Infinite Earths? I wasn't at first, but I think I am now. And after hearing those quotes. So then we can take a look at Batwoman real quick. And it says here it airs at 8 p.m. Eastern on the CW. It's not yet rated. I'm imagining it's going to be similar to the Arrowverse, like TV 14 or something like that. And the writer, Carolyn Dries, is the one that was giving us those initial comments. And there's more to read here. I've already linked this down below, so you can do the reading yourself as well. Next up on the list, we have Brandon Routh is playing Superman again. I know this was mentioned in the beginning. But I just wanted to show you guys a little bit of what's going to take place here. So we have Brandon Routh reacting to playing Superman again, and it's kind of it's a social media reaction, which I greatly appreciate, because he doesn't seem like a man of many words, but I don't think he got a fair shake with Superman Returns. I thought he did a great job playing Superman in that movie. I think he gets a lot of hate for something that is actually the writing team's fault. For a lot, you know, maybe it wasn't a terrific story. And I don't think it was a terrific story. I think it was a unique perspective on the character. It just didn't work out so well. And I think it wasn't his fault. He looks great in the suit. He played the role well, but it's playing the role that was given to him. You know what I mean? So it's tough. It's a tough situation. Kind of like Tyler Hoechlin. I like Tyler Hoechlin. I think he looks good as Superman. Not a huge fan of the giant buckly cape belts or whatever, but whatever. At the same time, I don't like what they did with his character in Superman and Supergirl. I think that he was kind of jobbing for Supergirl, which sucks. But nevertheless, I do want to see Tyler Hoechlin more in these things, because maybe they're going to show him to be the Superman that we all love. That Superman that is the top. He is the GOAT. He is the greatest of all time. So I want to see that, and I want to see it threefold. I want to see Tom Welling, I want to see Tyler Hoechlin, and I want to see Brandon Routh. So let's just take a look at this here before I go on this further rant of glory and awesomeness. It says, the actor who plays Ray Palmer, aka the Atom on Legends of Tomorrow, will be reprising his role as Superman, as he was in Return of Superman, or Superman Returns, sorry, for the next epic crossover on Arrowverse. It says, Routh originally played the character in Superman Returns, but he'll be playing a much different version for the event Crisis on Infinite Earths this December. Now that he's pulling double duty on DC Comics shows, Routh took to social media to react to the news now that it is public. Deadline tweeted out and said Tyler Hoechlin and Brandon Routh to suit up as Superman for Arrowverse crossover on the CW. And then Brandon Routh comments and says, honored, humbled, grateful, and still pinching myself. Obviously, this is a huge dream come true for him. I mean, who doesn't want to play Superman? Who would say no to that role? I don't know anyone that would probably, unless you like legit look nothing like the role and you feel like you yourself are nothing like that role. I don't know why anyone would say no to that. So Brandon Routh, I mean, the movie got terrible ratings, terrible reviews. It was not a terrific film by any stretch of the imagination, but I thought Brandon Routh was good in his role on a ship that was kind of already sinking from the start. And so I'm glad to see Brandon Routh getting to play this role one more time in a very different context. So I'm super excited, and he's supposed to be playing Kingdom Come version of Superman. So, and you can see that here. Routh will be playing a very particular version of Superman. One might get comic fans excited. According to the Wrap's Humberto Gonzalez, Routh's Superman will be based on the older hero in Kingdom Come, who begins to take drastic measures in hopes of teaching the younger generations of heroes what it means to protect the innocent and save the world. And so then what I'm going to show you guys is some art. So it says, oh snap, need to reload. So I'm reloading here. Brandon Routh returns as Kingdom Come Superman for Crisis on Infinite Earth in a new image. And this is a fan art. So let me go ahead and show you guys this right here. So let me just make sure, take some precautions here in case the ads start playing audio. It says here, first look at Brandon Routh in Kingdom Come outfit is expected to make its debut online before the Crisis of Infinite Earths crossover begins in December. But as we wait for that, because this is not the official first look, Instagram artist George Evangelista has created the cool concept art, which it totally is, reveals how great Brandon Routh's Kingdom Come Superman could look on the small screen. Drop down below to check out the Crisis on Infinite Earths concept art with Brandon Routh. This artist kills it. Look at this thing. Holy moly, look at that. Look at that. Oh my gosh. I'm going to actually take you guys here to the Instagram. I'm going to scroll up, and it says, if we click on here, we go to the artist's Facebook over here. It's got a bigger image so that you guys can get a darn nice look at this, all right? So let's wait for it to load. Look at all this cool art, man. Holy moly. Check it out. This is what it is. Boom. And you guys should totally follow this guy on Instagram, Facebook, wherever he's got media. Follow this guy. He deserves some follow. Check that out. Look at that with the gray on the sides. Oh my goodness, that is beautiful if I ever saw it. And that looks like a very cool hybrid of the Man of Steel logo and that Kingdom Come look. You know what I mean? Very, very cool. I love this look. So hopefully it's something close to this. Doesn't have to be. I mean, they could give him a black suit for all I care. They can give him a bright blue, like neon blue, if they wanted to, and I'd probably still watch that because I just love Brandon Routh in that role. So anyways, that's pretty awesome. But you guys check that out and follow this guy anyway. So I'm excited. Oh, it looks like he did one for Tom Welling too. Oh, that's pretty neat. I like that. Oh, that's good. All right, so next up, if you guys are excited about this, let me know down in the comments what your thoughts are. Are you guys excited to see Brandon Routh reprise his role as Superman? Or are you guys like, I don't know about that. It's kind of maybe too many Supermen, and I just want to get back to not watching the Arrowverse, or unless you want to watch the Arrowverse, I might actually start watching the Arrowverse to catch up, because I'm really excited for this, guys. I have not watched any Arrow, Flash, DC Legends, Supergirl, any of that for maybe a year now. Maybe a little over that for some of them, and gosh, it's been a long time. I'm really behind on some of these things, but this makes me want to jump back in. These crossover events are big, and they're experiences that you won't find anywhere else. I like that. And they're honoring the classics. They're honoring the source material, and that's what I'm all about. So let's do it. So anyways, let's take a look at the next topic for today. So next up, we have Black Lightning is going to be in the crossover event. So if you guys are fans of Black Lightning, you guys are already aware that Black Lightning is not officially part of the CW Arrowverse. He's not actually officially part of that. He's on CW, but he's not really part of it. And it's always been separate. So here we go. Let's just take a look at this and read it. It says, though Black Lightning has been separate from the Arrowverse since its series premiere, star Cress Williams is not surprised that his character will appear on the Crisis of Infinite Earths crossover event. He says, I was excited when it was announced, but not, I'd say, surprised, because the fans have been wanting this since they announced that we were a show. So he told Entertainment Weekly, they were already like, are you going to be in the crossover? When are you going to be in the crossover? They always wanted it from day one. And then it goes down here. Let me go ahead and see if I can move lower than that advertising. Sorry about that, guys. It says here, the unofficial rumblings behind the scenes had just been growing. It got to the point, especially after Comic-Con, that I would have been more shocked if they said, no, this is never going to happen, he recalled. And then it says, even though the series is separate from CW's other DC TV shows, Williams has been looking forward to interacting with the Arrowverse's stars. We feel isolated a bit being in Atlanta because they shoot in a different city, but I socialize with a lot of the other the other shows when we're doing press together. They all are really cool people, so I'm excited to play with them, he says. I feel like being Black Lightning and Stephen Amell's Arrow character, they have that kind of vigilante quality that's similar and a grittiness that's similar. This will be a lot of fun. I really look forward to playing with all of them and acting alongside all of them and swapping stories with all of them. So he's saying here, man, we are going to be part of this crossover event, even if it's a small, it could just be one episode, could be part of an episode, could be the whole dang thing. But I'm really excited to see him get to interact with the other actors, because I'm sure that this is something he's been looking forward to for a very long time as well. And I'm sure there's a ton of people that haven't seen Black Lightning that after seeing him in the crossover event might be like, huh, that was really cool. I want to go check out his show. And then they'll be turned on to that. They'll get some more fans. And that's how it all grows. You know what I mean? So then that's pretty cool. So that's all I wanted to say for that one. But you guys let me know what you guys think about all of these crossovers coming back. And again, guys, I wanted to pull this up so you guys can kind of have an idea. We're looking at Brandon Routh, Kevin Conroy. We're looking at... I'm sorry, I keep wanting to call her Cassie Kane, but that's not correct. It's Kate Kane, and she's Batwoman. Ruby Rose is Batwoman. Thank you. I keep forgetting their name. Ruby Rose is Batwoman. Burt Ward Robin. Tyler Hoechlin Superman. We're talking about Cress Williams from Black Lightning, Tom Welling, and Erica Durance, all being in this crossover event on CW for Crisis on Infinite Earths. This is gonna be nuts. So let me know what you guys think about this down below in the comments. And last up, we have the next topic for the day. This is the last topic we're going to talk about. J.J. Abrams' bidding war won by Warner Media as Bad Robot nears $500 million partnership. So this might sound like a bunch of gobbledygook and not make any sense to you guys. If this does not make any sense, let me clarify. This is J.J. Abrams, the guy that did Star Wars, The Force Awakens, and he's doing Star Wars Episode 9, not The Last Jedi. And he also did the Star Trek films. This guy is a big-time nerd, and he has his own production company that he runs with his wife called Bad Robot. Bad Robot was just bought by Warner Media, which is the parent company of DC. So DC now has a sort of direct relationship with Warner Media. Warner and DC are effectively one entity, effectively. And Warner now owns Bad Robot. Why is this important? Why am I saying this? This is obviously, and of course, this is not even new news. This came out in June, but I wanted to mention it now because there's been a lot of talks and rumblings about J.J. Abrams possibly being the next guy to do a Superman movie. Why is this the rumor? Because, so first, before we get into that, let me just say, I'll just read this and you guys can take it from there. It says, Bad Robot, the production company Abrams runs with his wife and co-CEO Katie McGrath, had been fielding offers from pretty much every major media company at one point or another. It says the sweepstakes to land a massive overall deal with Bad Robot, that the famed production company run by J.J. Abrams and his wife and co-CEO Katie McGrath is nearing the finish line. Following a months-long courting process that included multiple suitors, Warner Media is in the final negotiations with the partnership with Bad Robot. Sources say it's unclear how many years the new agreement is for, and the deal that would keep Abrams and the company he called home since 2006 has not been finalized. But remember, this is as of June. It is now finalized. It says, still sources have estimated that any new pact for Bad Robot could be valued in the $500 million vicinity. When all is said and done, that would be the deal at the top of the recent wave of 9-figure pacts for prolific producers, including Greg Berlanti, $400 million from Warner Bros. TV, Ryan Murphy, $300 million from Netflix, and Sonda Rhimes from $100 million from Netflix. And it says, under the deal, Abrams and company will continue to create and develop new projects for Warner. Catch that? Abrams and the company will continue to create and develop new projects for Warner Media and supervise other producers across film, TV, and digital platforms. Sources say the process of moving Bad Robot's future film deal over to Viacom-owned Paramount Pictures has already begun. Representatives for Warner Media and Bad Robot declined comment. This was back then. And so now, and even back then it was saying that it was looking like Warner is getting it, and Warner has since got it. And this is very interesting because of the next topic we have. Did you guys know that J.J. Abrams once had a Superman movie in development? So J.J. Abrams had Superman Flyby, which was his Superman movie. And it says here, before he did Star Trek or Star Wars, long before the DCEU, J.J. Abrams wrote an epic Superman movie, and it very nearly happened. It almost happened. Let's go ahead and read this. Long before Henry Cavill put on the tights for the Man of Steel and Justice League, he was very nearly cast as Kal-El in a different attempt to revitalize the Superman legend on the big screen. In 2002, J.J. Abrams was enjoying some acclaim thanks to the Felicity and Alias TV shows, but he was still years removed from the career-changing Lost and Mission Impossible 3, let alone the Star Wars saga. On July 26, 2002, Abrams delivered the first draft of the screenplay titled simply Superman. And it says, I've read both of Abrams' drafts of the project, and they're a lot of fun. And that, of course, is this guy's opinion. But it says, Abrams' Superman was written in the wake of a series of failed attempts to bring the character back to the big screen after Cannon Films' disappointing and low-budget Superman 4, The Quest for Peace, all the way back in 1987. So that one, if you guys don't know, Superman 4, The Quest for Peace was the last of the Christopher Reeve Superman films, and it sucked. Bad, and it lost, I think it lost a lot of money, but it said during that time the franchise had scripts written by writers and diverse as William Wisher, Dan Gilroy, who recently found acclaim with Nightcrawler, and most famously Kevin Smith. You guys know him, he's a big nerd. It says all of which dealt with in some form or another with the death of Superman storyline from the comics, which had generated endless publicity and stellar sales between 1992 and 1993. That iteration was I'm spoiling this, was supposed to have Nick Cage. And it did at first, but it didn't end up getting made. It said Tim Burton was attached to direct for several years, and he developed the project for his intended Superman, Nicolas Cage. That then at the peak of his blockbuster success in the wake of The Rock and Con Air. It says, once these projects fell apart, Warner Bros. Opted for a different take on the mythology. Two, as a matter of fact, 2 iterations, that is. And it says, one of the projects that we're discussing here, the other was Batman vs. Superman, Asylum, written by Seven or Sezen, with a 7 in the middle, scribe, Andrew Kevin Walker, with Enemy Mine directing, Wolfgang Peterson set to direct, and I wrote much more about that on this other article, is what this guy's saying here. It says, why reinvigorate one franchise when you can do 2 at once, right? Well, while that movie was never to be, Warner Bros. Clearly decided to save its concept for a rainy day. A look at Abrams' first draft, which entered various stages of pre-production under the working title Superman Flyby, reveals many of the same elements which years later would make his Star Trek reboot and financial, albeit polarizing, success. Like he did in Star Trek, Abrams leaves little to chance, making sure that every element of Superman's origin is significant, perhaps too significant, while every relationship is introduced and explained in almost excruciating detail. These incidents of Abrams over-explaining are peppered throughout the draft. Ty Zor is essentially General Zod, but instead of a mere rival, he's Superman's angrier cousin. Clark's glasses aren't a disguise. They're custom made with lead spec lenses to help the young boy control his vision powers. Clark Kent is a college senior with an undeclared major until he runs into a feisty journalism student named Lois Lane at a frat party, thereby changing the course of his career, as if the stalker criticisms of Superman Returns weren't pointed out enough. Jonathan Kent drops dead of a heart attack when news of Clark's first excursion as Superman reaches him. Jor-El visited Earth decades earlier, to determine whether the Kents were worthy of raising his son. You get the picture. And so that's the gist of kind of the story. And like Man of Steel, Superman Flyby shows off a Krypton full of giant robots, war suits, and toy-ready weapons known as blast staffs, wielded skillfully by decidedly proactive Jor-El, and described as a king at one point in a draft. Abrams offers copious notes throughout the script, going beyond commentary, characterization, and stage directions into musical cues and other suggestions. In what would have been a refreshing twist, one of his notes reads, all scenes on Krypton are spoken in Kryptonian, an actual language we will develop, and calling for subtitles during important passages of dialogue. That actually sounds very meticulously detailed and very much like J.J. Abrams. I'm not going to go ahead and get into all of these details, but what it is saying here is that J.J. Abrams freaking loves Superman. He is all about making a Superman film. He has been for years, and he was responsible for making Henry Cavill get noticed as Superman, by the way. That was his first audition as Superman, was at J.J. Abrams' project, and they ended up not making the film, so he ended up showing up later for the Man of Steel, and that worked out. But this was kind of a Superman turning point here, was this project. It kind of started to open the door for, hey, there's different ways we can tell this story. We've told it pretty much the same way for a few years in a row. Let's change it up a little bit. And I think the only exception to that was really Dean Cain. But after that, you know, they really wanted to take it in a new light. And so I hope that Man of Steel 2 comes as a result. Now, you guys can start to piece this together. J.J. Abrams' production company was just bought by Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers just picked up Bad Robot. See that? Bad Robot right there. And now we have the reminder that Superman Flyby was a project that he did. I'm not saying we're going to get Superman Flyby, guys. Don't mistake me here. I don't think it's going to be Superman Flyby, but I do think that J.J. Abrams will be eager to pick up where Zack Snyder has left off. So I predicted a while ago on my Brightburn trailer video that James Gunn would be offered the role of Man of Steel 2, and I thought he should take it. his work on Brightburn, even though it was very low budget, he did an amazing job with that film. It was crazy. It was bonkers. It's dark. It's ridiculous. Hard to watch at certain points, but you can't take your eyes off of it. Very James Gunn. And with this project, Man of Steel 2, no one wants to touch it because no one knows how to write for Superman. It's very difficult, and it's an existing IP that has an existing writer. An existing storyline that functions within the greater universe of the DCEU, which has problems. And, there's a lot of, is Ben Affleck, he's already gone. Who's going to take his place? Do they have to adjust for age and timeline? What's going to happen? So, and DC's already got their hands full with a whole slate of films that are not Superman. So, how are they going to make this work? James Gunn's going to be too busy doing Suicide Squad 2 and then going to Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Who knows what he's going to do after that? And if he doesn't come back and say, you know what, maybe I will do Man of Steel 2, I think J.J. Abrams not only could do it, I think he should do it. And now he totally can do it because they own him. So effectively, his studio, his production company, now is owned by Warner Brothers, and Warner Brothers is DC. So you have DC, Warner Brothers working with J.J. Abrams. This is an open door, guys, and I don't think that that's a coincidence. I think that part of that conversation was, hey, JJ, we would really like you to be the person that mans up to the Man of Steel and takes the second film. I don't see why that's not part of the conversation. I think that that's probably the logical next step. And if you guys agree with me, if you think that the guy that did Star Wars and Star Trek and Lost should have a crack at Man of Steel 2, let me know down in the comments. A lot of people want Zack Snyder to come back and just do it again. I love Man of Steel. I think that was a great film. I would love to see if he could do it again. I would love to see James Gunn take it. I would love to see maybe James Cameron take it, or J.J. Abrams. So any of these guys to me are a huge win, but it looks like we found an open door here. So maybe still it'll probably be another 4 years, 3 years, 5 years. Probably not 3 years. It's probably 5 years. But nevertheless, I'm excited. What do you guys think about this news about the purchase of Bad Robot by Warner Brothers and about J.J. Abrams having a deep and connected history with Superman, the character, and projects he has written and worked on and tried to get off the ground before? Do you think that this will pan out? Do you think he's going to try it again and maybe try a fresh, revamped, updated script to fit the DCEU and carry on where Zack Snyder left off? Let me know in the comments. So that is pretty much all that I had for you guys today. So that is the last of these things I wanted to show for you. So let me know down in the comments what you have to say about these. Like, share, subscribe. Turn on notifications if you haven't already so you can be alerted right away when I go live next time. That way you guys can be part of the comments. Now, before I go on, I want to share with you guys what is happening here in the comment section of this video. So let's go ahead and pick up. Anthony Manzano says, hi. He says, I have a question. Who came first, the Arrow or Clint Barton? Oh, that's you mean in comics? Because I believe Clint Barton was before in live action. Unless you count Smallville. But I don't know. That's a good question. You know what? Let's go ahead and look it up. Who came first, Arrow or Hawkeye? Oliver Queen as Green Arrow and Clint Barton as Hawkeye. Hawkeye first appeared in 1964. A good year for Marvel Comics, it seems, but Green Arrow did appear several years earlier in 1941. So it looks like Green Arrow came first as Oliver Queen, and then Clint Barton Hawkeye. Oh, that's a fun fact. I did not know that. Thank you for bringing that up. So now we all know. Next after that, it says, with Matt Reeves casting Robert Pattinson as Batman, who would be perfect counterpart as his Superman in the same age group? That is a great question. Who would be a good counterpart to Robert Pattinson's Batman? Let me think about that. Who should be... I was going to say... what was the name of the guy? If it's not going to be someone existing, they're going to cast a new actor to play him. Let me see. What would be a fun one? Let's do... I don't know. You know what? I'll make a fan casting video about that. I don't want to waste too much time here because I have not given this one a lot of thought, but that's a great question. Who could possibly play the counterpart to the supposedly standalone Matt Reeves Batman. I want to see who could play that counter to him. I would suggest. Oh, you know what? I would just go with Matt Bomer. He's already voiced Superman a billion times. He's approximately the right age. I mean, a little bit older, but nevertheless, he looks very, very youthful. Got the perfect jaw, perfect face for Superman. Knows the character as he's voiced him several times. And if you guys didn't know, he has played Superman in a live-action commercial for, I think it was a Toyota hybrid commercial in Japan. But he played Superman in a very short commercial. If you look it up, you'll find Matt Bomer played Superman in live action for like a quick second. So that would be my top pick just off the cuff. But I'll make a fan casting video for that. And then after that, we have message retracted. It says, Daniel, in my opinion, I would like to see this Kevin Conroy appearance in the Crisis on Infinite Earths crossover event on the CW lead to a Batman Beyond live action series with Damian Wayne as the lead. Hey, that is fresh and that is creative. I didn't think of that. That would be very interesting. It would make a lot of sense for recent comics. It does hurt my mind though, because I love the Terry McGinnis character. I would love to see Terry McGinnis play Batman Beyond, but I could get on board and watch a Damian Wayne version adaptation of a Batman Beyond. To me, that makes sense. It's could be approximately the right age. So yeah, I could totally go for that. That would make sense. And it would allow them to kind of create something new, have something new and fun and fresh. And I'm down to try that if you guys are. So let me know what you guys think about that suggestion down below. Thank you, Anthony Manzano, for engaging with us here in the comments and for being part of the Stuff of Legend. Lastly, I just wanted to point out, you guys have already seen some of these slideshows, but I've got a lot of merch going on. So if you guys haven't seen, I've got Power Rangers Beast Morphers, some Iron Fist. Look, there's sales all the time on TeePublic. And if you just click the link that's in the description, I can take you to this. But there's all kinds of t-shirts, Supernatural. And then here we have a lot of these. So you see Brandon Routh, Tom Welling, Tyler Hoechlin. If we keep going down, you can see that we have Adam West. We've got Kevin Conroy here. If you guys are all about that, if you want to see some of this action here, you can absolutely do that. $13 t-shirts for some of these. You can pick your colors. So if you say, you know what, I kind of want that Batman Hush kind of blue color. I want some of that royal blue. Give me some of that. Or maybe you want one of these royal heather type colors where it's a little bit patterned in it. Softer shirt material, you can absolutely do that. Change it from male to female. You can get some of that classic t-shirt action going on. Tri-blend for extra soft if you wish. A little bit more money for that one. But if you still want the $13 t-shirt, that's just a classic t-shirt. I love the classic t-shirt. And then you can also get hoodies, stickers, kids t-shirts, mugs. Mugs are $11. Stickers are $2. Pins are $2. Wall art, you guys get a big ol', check this out. I want to show you guys something sick. You got some wall art here. Wall art, you can get a mini art print. Or you know what? No, let's go canvas print. Let's go all in. This one's going to cost you a little bit more. But if you want some of that Kevin Conroy action on your wall, look at this. Yeah, it's $147, but it's the biggest one you can get. Boom. That'll look really nice in your man cave right there. Get the great Kevin Conroy up there. And then you can also just say, you know what? I kind of just want the hoodie. I don't want to go crazy. $35 is about all I'm willing to spend. Let's go for a hoodie. You know what? Black. Maybe a really, really dark gray. That sounds good to me. So you get one of these, lock it in. Now you got your Batman t-shirt and get ready for that December Crisis on Infinite Earths thing with the Kevin Conroy is my Batman, 1992 to present. I am vengeance. I am the night. Batman hoodie. So check it out. Link in the description of this video. You can get your favorite Batman, your favorite Superman, your favorite Power Rangers, your favorite all this stuff. Merchandise, all kinds of things, cell phone cases. Just take a quick look at that mug. Look at that mug on the mug. It's brilliant. And you can also get a travel mug. That's the last thing I want to show you guys. Lots of fun to be had. Thank you for supporting the channel. You can support the channel in a number of ways that are free by liking, sharing, subscribing, and clicking the notification bell, leaving comments down below, sending in topic suggestions. But you can also financially support the channel by either buying one of these, or you can get your Fan of Much Fiction t-shirt, or you can get the Stuff of Legend merch. Either way, it's all good. I appreciate you guys. That is all. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. You guys are the best. Stay tuned for more right here on The Stuff of Legend.